Is reality a test of our intelligence or a test of our senses? Can you work out what existence is using reason and logic? Or are you somehow dependent on your senses? If reality is rational and logical, then of course reason and logic are the means we must use to discover its foundational nature. If reality isn't rational and logical, then what good are your senses? What they are detecting is irrational and illogical. Idealists are thinking types. They know they can think their way to the answer to existence. Materialists are sensing types. They bizarrely believe that observing the world is the best way to explain it. Dogs and cats observe the world and don't have a clue what reality is. They can't think rationally and logically. Nor can scientists, it seems. Should we regard scientists as just one step up from dogs and cats? The scientific method starts with an injunction to observe the world, empiricism. It definitely doesn't start with an injunction to think rationally and logically about the world. Why is that? It's an admission that science doesn't believe reality to be rational and logical, because, if it were rational and logical, you would of course use reason and logic to examine it. But science uses the limited, fallible, unreliable, delusional human senses. How odd! How irrational and illogical! Science's foundationally irrational and illogical approach to understanding existence is revealed in the first step of its method, which defines its ideology. If you accepted that reality is rational and logical, you would of course adopt the mathematical method, based on thinking, on reason and logic. Scientists obviously do not believe that, since they swear by the senses and commence their method with the senses and not with reason and logic. In what way will the senses reveal reality to you if reason and logic cannot? Ask a scientist. But don't expect a rational and logical answer. That's by definition not their thing. You're not a rationalist if you're an empiricist, and that's the whole problem with science. It is foundationally opposed to the concept that reality has a 100% rational and logical syntax. Reality is not 62.3% rational and logical with respect to syntax, and 37.7% irrational and illogical. It's either 100% or 0%. If you're able to think rationally and logically, that is. So, what is the instrument you would use to address a 100% rational and logical syntax? Your human senses, or reason and logic? Duh. Reality is an intelligence test, not a test of your eyesight.